And today, as I said, is the white stone ceremony. So, yes, we are live. Don't you love that energy in the room? You know, I could just go sit down and let that happen and we'd be fine. The white stone is actually an ancient ritual. Sometimes I used to get the impression early on in Unity that it kind of belonged to Unity. You gotta love that. But the truth is, it's an ancient ritual because what it actually was about was back when people would be imprisoned, which still happens today, and our prayer is that less and less of that has to happen. But the ancient ritual comes from when they were released from bondage, when they were released and they had served their time, that what they had walked through had served its purpose. They were given a white stone, a clean slate, and on it, they were invited into acknowledging their new nature, their new name. Now, I want you just to consider for a moment the areas of your life that you might feel a little bound up, a little tied up and wrapped around the axle, like I like to say. I get wrapped around the axle. Where are those areas that you could see yourself freed up and traveling at a much better mile per hour if you weren't wrapped around the axle? Where you could move freely about the cabin of your life. And today, that's what this is about, is naming it and claiming it. What are you invited into in this new year? To be, to show up as, to represent, to work on. What is that name? That's what the white stone is about. I love this quote by Seneca. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. So last week we did a burning bowl. And I actually have another burning bowl out in the foyer. And there's some paper on your chairs. If there's something that came up this week that you didn't quite clear out last week, still kind of been gnawing at you a little bit, you have the opportunity to do that before you come up and get your white stone. Because a clean slate begins with an open heart, an open mind, and the opportunity to be a greater expression of who you are called to be. The white stone that you will receive today is a symbol. And there's two things that we do today. One, you choose a white stone. So that seems pretty simple. There's a whole bowl of them up here. Or we could go a little deeper with that action. As we come up and we choose our white stone, and we'll come down the center aisle to do that. These white stones have been saged. They came from Jerusalem. They are from an area where a young man was inspired to hold a vision of peace in this area of the Mideast that may have forgotten what peace looks like. And so he had this vision that instead of those stones being thrown at each other, that those stones would start to represent something bigger and a greater expression of the people that held them in their hand. So as you choose your white stone, you get to choose the stone that offers you that clean slate that was based on a vision of peace, that was based on a vision of a higher thought. Now, how do you feel about picking that stone? And once you've chosen that stone, you'll return to your seat. And we're going to sit in meditation. We're going to open ourselves to being willing, to being able, and to being aware. What is it? Where in my life could I free myself from bondage? Where in my life do I get to be a greater expression? And the really cool thing about this is, you're sitting here in a world that you live in a place of freedom. The only bondage there could possibly be would be that which you are creating within. You get to be in total control of that release. You get to determine that clean slate and what it's going to look like for you in 2019. Now we say that we're going to name it and claim it. Naming it and claiming it. Now, what is in a name? Does everybody here have a story about how they got their name? I have a story. Do you kind of have a story? I bet there's a story about how Stella got her name. I was named after my dad's favorite collie puppy. I am so glad her name wasn't Rover. And there's something endearing about that. And then to take it a little further, way back when I was born, you would just walk into the courthouse and you would hand fill out the birth certificate. So they sent my granddad, Frosty, yes, that's what his name was, to go fill out my birth certificate. Now, Granddad Frosty was an amazing man, and he touched a lot of lives, but spelling was not one of his strong suits. And so on that birth certificate, he wrote Penny, P-E-N-N-I, and he wrote Lee, L-E-A. That's what's in my physical name. There's something in a name. It was a big deal long ago when a child was named, and a lot of people, after they had an awakening, after they had overcome, they actually took on a new name. Because it was so important that everything about the nature of who they were represent what they were called to be in the world. Now, I don't expect you to go change your name. However, I do invite you into this. As you claim, as you name it and claim it today, I invite you into recognizing the power on that clean slate that you have consciously selected from this pile of stone that was found on the premise of peace, that was founded on the concept of a new and a higher thought, that you consider what kind of impact that can have in your daily life and in the world out there as you show up. I love the way this room feels right now. I love all the names that I hear moving through you. And then we claim it. And we carry that little stone in our pocket, or we put it on the bathroom counter, or we put it in the kitchen window. And we remind ourselves of the time and the effort and the willingness that we took to name and claim who we want to be, what we want to express, what we're hoping for, what we see is most needed in that world out there in 2019. Deep breath. So let's have some silence. Let's have some quiet. And then as you are ready, we will move into meditation. Sean will lead us in the song, a new song, how appropriate, of Yes, I Am. At the close of the song, what you're invited into, if you still need to do some clearing out, there's a burning bowl in the foyer, there's paper on your chair. If you're ready to move forward, choose your white stone for the year of 2019, please do so. I would appreciate if you'll come up the center aisle and go out this way and come back to your seat. I also appreciate the fact that your word may already be there and that you also will honor the fact that someone else's may come a little more slowly. So we will have some more music after that. Okay? All right. Join us now in the song, Yes, I Am.